Good morning. I hope all is well in your life and that you are enjoying peace wherever this finds you, and that you have an enjoyable day. So, I've been having a lot of dreams lately that have been revealing just hidden opposition would be probably the best description for it. People that have, and groups that have said they support me, but they truly don't. And God has been showing me and making it plain for me so that I can no longer say that it's just a bad day or this person or this group is, just busy. Seeing, you know, people's true colors is at times very disheartening because you're seeing them deal with you from the absence of their faith. And that, you know, I'm the type of person that I want to encourage people and I want to see people operate from the abundance of, happiness, joy, even in life, and stability, and having gone through the experience, but learning the lesson and not necessarily from, where they're at, So as I have been wrestling with that, what I have come to realize is that way of thinking of only wanting to see the positive is very delusional. It's not reality, because reality is that within the spectrum of human emotions and humanity, we all have to face the harsh realities of our choices and the harsh realities of our own behavior patterns and how we modify those behaviors and those patterns into becoming habits that no longer keep us from enjoying our lives and actually motivate us to getting healthier, getting better at regulating our own emotions, better at recognizing certain dynamics in people or at play in situations before we decide to jump in and invest in something that is not good for us. And as I'm looking at one of my artworks, I'm reminded of the imagery of a young girl on the ledge of a window high up in a castle, looking out over the land, surveying it, and then looking up at the night sky and seeing all the stars and marveling at how beautiful up there is, but then when you get down here, how complex and just gritty and gross life can be, and the experience of living can be, but isn't always. And within that imagery is an unseen call towards letting things be lost to the sands of time, letting things go that are not a worthy investment of time and energy, and instead building upon what is rising within the mind and the creative space. Of the soul observing all of this. And sometimes it happens through excuse me, through following your intuition and trusting that if you know something and you can't explain why you know it, but you know it like you know your life, trusting that that is an insight and a wisdom and a discernment that you have of people, places, circumstances, situations, or dynamics for a reason, so that you do not go back into or fall back into a familiar groove that has always kept you just satisfied enough to not move, but dissatisfied enough to want better. And when I think of life in those terms, I realize that so often the familiar grooves that we fall back into are not necessarily bad. You know, it might be something that for a time we need, but they're not going to reproduce or build on the motivation that you need to be disciplined within to overcome whatever challenges you face in life. And recognizing that those familiar grooves are not always necessarily good or bad. They're just neutral. They're just familiar scenes on a page to us. It takes the need to perform and strive for perfection, which is just an illusion anyways, out of your mindset. So I say that to say this: when you know what your familiar groove is, and you know what leads up to you feeling comfortable sitting down in it or hanging back towards it, allowing it to come back into your life, or be a resting spot that becomes a stagnation point, I encourage you to believe differently, choose differently, and know that until you choose differently and do differently, you will always get the same result that you've always got. And that is a truth in life that is not hard to accept. I doubt that you can hear it on the video, but I have birds outside of my place just singing in the trees, and it's the neatest thing. They wake me up every morning singing. But it's quite neat. But I hope that this helps you, and I hope that you find some comfort in these words and motivation to keep moving, to keep investing in what you've been investing in towards your own betterment in life, and that it is whatever those tools are, resources are, that you use them in a way that you can conceptualize how they've helped you and understand what happens when you don't utilize those for your benefit to overcome.